Hey y'all, today I'd like to show you how I built this DIY L-shaped desk using only dimensional lumber. I used a really unique joint called a castle joint that made it so I didn't need any hardware. No hardware means I don't have to worry about using threaded inserts, and I can still take the desk apart and put it back together as many times as I need. So let's get started. First was a trip to pick up the lumber I needed. I needed two 8-foot 4x4s and four 8-foot 2x4s for the legs and apron frame, as well as one piece of plywood for the top. After dragging the lumber up to my third floor apartment, I got to work measuring the lengths. The apron under the desk will be 2 inches shorter and narrower all the way around than the finished top will be. This way it will have a sleek look even if my cuts are slightly off. This is an L-shaped desk, so I am using 5 legs instead of the 4 that we more commonly see on a rectangular table with this type of joint. Once cut to length, I needed to mark out the material to be removed from the top of each leg. After finding the center of each side of the 4x4, I should have probably just traced the end of one of the 2x4s so that the measurement was accurate. We all know a 2x4 is not actually a 2x4 and it's more like a 1.5 by 3.5. But I did it the hard way and measured the space. So this was then repeated on each side of each leg. Then it was time to remove the wood. I created this project when I didn't have very many tools, so I tried a few methods for removing the excess material. I started with a Sawzall to create little slices to then chisel out, but as the batteries were failing every few minutes, I switched to the handsaw and router. Using the plunge base and adjusting the router depth as I went actually worked quite well. This, though, left the center of the castle joint still needing to be removed, and ultimately I did a lot of the work with just the chisel and a hammer. I knew my router wouldn't cut deep enough, and as I was losing patience with the saw batteries, the old school methods won out. If you're curious, pine is tricky to chisel. It's a softwood, so it seems like it would be easy to dig into, but it also ends up chipping out and flaking due to the large grain pattern. If I were to do this again, I think I would score the center with a circular saw and jigsaw, and then use the chisel to dig the rest out. Now on to the apron pieces. These are the 2x4s. Here we are using a standard lap joint. Each lap joint then fits inside of the plus-shaped hole that we created in each leg. The Sawzall managed with the 2x4 much better than the 4x4, so I was able to use the method I had originally intended to use. Because this is an L-shaped desk, we are dealing with 6 pieces for the apron rather than 4. And because the inside corner doesn't have a leg, that intersection is crucial to get right. Once each joint was cut, I then used a file to square it up. I had the plywood cut to the widths that I needed at the store, so I didn't have to find the space or worry about trying to cut straight lines. It's a pretty convenient service many of the home improvement stores offer for free. I used a 2-in-1 stain-and polyurethane in the color black. I applied 1 coat to the legs and aprons so some of the grain would show through, and 3 coats to the top to really protect it from the variety of projects I'll be using this desk for. And here's a recent setup of the desk. I moved to a more permanent location about 2 years after completing this project, so I did end up adding a couple of bridge fasteners to the top as one of the pieces got warped when I moved. But other than that, no hardware or glue was needed to hold this piece together. I'm pretty happy with how this piece came out. It's certainly not perfect, but for a minimal tool build with construction lumber, it's very practical for my needs and surprisingly sturdy. I think the black stain really makes it sleek. Let me know what you think of using castle joints on an L-shaped piece, and click the video queued up here for another awesome project. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye!